Hello. I know why you're here. You are here because you have failed your no buy year challenge. It doesn't matter when you're watching this video, you attempted a no buy year challenge and you may have started out strong. You may be now in the middle or the latter half of your year of no buy. You may have been really great the first month, maybe even a couple of weeks, and something happened and you ended up not completing the challenge. It could have been that the weather changed and a new fashion trend came onto the social media feed and you needed to take part in it. A new game was released and you had to get that upgrade. Or social media started flooding you with all the things that you were missing out on, from the bowling alley events to clubbing to whatever your friends engage in. And you started going out with your friends and you started to buy drinks whilst you were out. You bought a few new clothing items here and then, even if you're secondhand online, maybe even a few books, bought tickets to that concert that you couldn't afford and set you back a few £100 or dollars. And welcome to the reality of no buy. When I first started talking about no buy, which is 4 years ago now, everyone was like, that's really easy, particularly when you're on low income, like that's basically my life. But no, I think you've now found out that actually it's not that easy, even when you are on low income. It is really hard to go 3 years without buying a single coffee, takeout, snack, alcoholic drink, ticket, book, clothing item, pen, pencil, highlighter pen, candle, app, streaming service, holiday, an event, absolutely nothing but your food bills, rent, and other bills. People will still always buy other things, whether it's tiny little trinkets for themselves or for others. And the reason a lot of people fall off is because it's actually quite a miserable, lonely, and isolating experience if you don't do it right, or you go in with the wrong attitude. And I completely understand why you failed, why you caved in now and then, and you ended up going, F it, might as well just keep buying things and give up on the no buy altogether. But here we are. I want you to say, actually, I am interested in doing no buy year, but I need some extra help. Can I do it in a different way other than the way they did it or other influencers did it? Yes. Today, you are going to start your new no buy challenge for the next year. So pick up your phone or pick up your calendar right now and look at the date you're watching this video. And from a year on now, that is now your new challenge end date. And we're going to do it completely differently than how you did before. The first thing you are going to do differently is you're going to do your no buy year in increments. So back again 4 years ago, I did it overnight. I have a very all or nothing mentality. My brain makes a decision that way. It goes a bit hardcore, to say the least. It's like a switch, which again can be a blessing and also a curse. So it's not something you want to always emulate. And people who have been successful on no buy and just giving up things may have a similar brain to mine, but that's not your brain. And that's wonderful. Your brain is different. Your brain is probably a little healthier than mine. So let's do it at your pace then. Let's adopt a slower no buy philosophy and start going a little bit more gentle. So for this philosophy, we want to do it in increments. So I want you to take out a notepad or work on your computer and write down a list of all the things you need to stop buying from your life, and that depends on your personal ways. You may be someone who buys lots of clothes or games. You may go out drinking quite a lot, so you buy out alcohol. You may buy a lot of takeaways or coffees, plants, whatever. Now, break that down into monthly goals. The first thing we want to do is we're aiming to get to a no buy status after month 9 and do the last 3 months total no buy. But until that point, we're going to be doing it in increments. So first thing is you're going to say August. What am I stopping buying in August? That for you could be clothes. Then in September, you're going, what am I adding to that no buy list? For you, that could be books. So in September, you'll buy no books and no clothes. By October, you can then add plants to the list, and so on and so forth. The goal is to get to 9 months with all the items that you buy on a regular basis to 0 and live the last 3 months of your no buy challenge buying absolutely nothing but the essentials, your bills, your food, and any other kind of expenses like your rent or insurances, etc. Don't try and drag it all out until you only do your no buy month for the final month, because then it kind of doesn't have the same impact for your savings. If you want to try and save some money, then you need to try and actually give up no buying for those 3 months. But really, you're only challenging yourself for the final 3 months and you're going to gradually get into it. The second thing I want you to do is to ask yourself and create a more stronger emotional why you're doing this. So obviously you had a why when you first started no buy, but let's face it, your why was not strong enough, because if it was strong enough, you wouldn't have fallen off track and you wouldn't have given up. You need a really strong emotional why, and it has to be something deeper than I want to save some money, or I saw a YouTuber doing it and that sounds quite fun, so I'm going to do it too. You need a why, and it needs to be a deep why, not just I want to save money for X or I want to buy a house one day. The goals are too elusive and they're too superficial. You need something deeper. So for me, 4 years ago when I started my no-buy year, is that I've been working retail and freelance jobs for years and I hadn't had any savings whatsoever. I'd done 9.5 years in retail, and then I'd only done like around that time a year in freelancing, and I wasn't saving up any money, and my dream was to go to university to study a PhD. At the time, I was like, you know what? I am actually really angry. I am angry for the years and decades of my life where I was called thick and stupid. What also angered me was that I was a first generation student in 2010 of my family. Centuries of my family have been denied access to education because they were working class and couldn't afford it. Something that should be a human right in my opinion and a choice for absolutely everyone had been denied to my family for centuries, and that really angered me. You need an emotional drive like that. You need some real passion in your belly that you are doing something other than saving up for a house. You need that emotional drive. Why are you saving up for a house? Tap into your emotional need, because that's what's going to keep you going every time you want to give in. And the final thing I want you to do is to be way more honest and way more vulnerable with your support network or the people around you. So a lot of people tell me that they cave and give out on their no-buy year because of the people around them, because of their family and friends and feeling a bit left out, or too embarrassed to tell people what they're doing and why they are doing it. Now, I got really lucky. Everyone in my life was very accepting of my no-buy and the limitations that came with that, but I was very upfront. And also, I was conscious of not wanting to isolate myself from people and find new ways to experience relationships with others that didn't rely on spending any money. Now, it's important to stress you are not looking for other people to pay for you. That is not the goal of no buy, because then people will resent. So I never let other people pay for me, but I would suggest alternatives that fit with my no buy year rules that actually was really fun for both of us. So a prime example was when the weather was good, I would say, actually, can we just bring our own coffee or a flask and let's go to the park or the botanical gardens and just hang out and chill. If the weather is bad, as it is in Scotland, my other suggestions were going to a museum or a gallery, because in Scotland those are free. Similarly, there's lots of free events in and around your local area or online events. So you can look online for those, and you can go to a free music night, a spoken word night, a poetry gig. Lots of libraries as well, and bookshops, I know from my own personal experience, do a lot of now and again free events that you can join in on, free writing groups, etc. Other things that you can do in your home, so you can have board game night at your flat, or their flat if they have board games, or you can play online games with each other, or you can even play games in the same room, or even do something really cute like a reading day or a writing day where you both meet up and you write your novel, or you write on something that you're working on, maybe your studies, maybe some poetry collection, whatever you do. There's a lot of free things that you can do if you tap into your imagination that requires you to spend absolutely nothing. But the important thing is just to do it at your own pace and do it within your means. And again, not everyone has the same means as other people. For you may actually go out drinking a lot, and that may be something that's really hard for you to overcome, about like how you socialize with people, and adjusting may be different. For me, that wasn't a big deal. Giving up alcohol for 3 years was not a big deal, because I didn't drink it really before. Like, I'd only drink it at social occasions when other people were drinking it to try and fit in. However, books were a problem for me, whereas for you, books may be no problem for you. Similarly, I've never had a streaming service like Netflix, or any kind of television streaming service that may be a big part of someone's life, whereas for me it's never been a part of my life. I've never had Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or anything like that. It's for your why at the end of the day, and how committed you are, how much you're dependent on, your mental health and the status of that are all important to consider for yourself. So don't compare yourself to other people's rules. My rules were incredibly strict, but yours don't have to be as strict. Make sure it accommodates your real needs. But again, ask yourself, is this really a need? And again, I always recommend the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, because that really helped me identify what I really needed in life, and that's what motivated me to get through the no-buy year the way I did, as strictly as I did. but it may not accommodate to your needs, particularly if you're a parent or a carer and other accommodations like that. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. If you have a similar request, then you can send me a video request in my form down below. I have a Google form, you can send in your requests and hopefully I will cover it in another video. But thank you so much for watching as always. Thank you to my patrons as always. I'll pop them here, I think it's better space here. And I'll see you soon for another video. And remember, books save lives, so keep reading.